Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and we've had a delightful day in crypto today. Bitcoin's touched on 20K, dipped a little bit, but a really nice move for Bitcoin, over 5% today, and double digits for some of the altcoins. Let's go to the chart. Okay, you guys should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so we blasted through this mini range, and yeah, it paused at about 18.5, then kept going. So we're going to be back into my primary range. Well, we are back in my primary range. I'll have to make a new range probably for my Monday Zoom. But yeah, I'm loving this. I'm very curious to see if we can punch through 20K and close above it. It doesn't look like we're going to do that today, but we still have another hour. Or if we, yeah, we don't have a new candle yet. Another hour before the end of the trading day. So that close will be important. Ethereum is doing well. It was pushing up around, didn't quite make 1500, broke through 1450 and doing nicely as well. I'd like to see it break this resistance here around 1650 and keep working its way back to 2000. So like what I'm seeing now, but is it a breakout or a fake out? Is it a bull trap? Kind of curious what you guys think. Any opinions on the matter?
That's a really tough question.
Mm-hmm.
My fingers are crossed. That's all.
All right, Peter's
Yeah,
cautiously optimistic.
Everyone wants it to be a breakout.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like we've hit the bottom of the market, so it could be a breakout. But I just feel so skeptical these days. So
Yeah, is there going to be another giant scandal to plunge things down? I was looking for support and resistance, and I had to go back to November on some of these coins because right now it's the highest they've been since then. So, but November was when the FTX imploded. So, of course, the news has come out that they found 5 billion in assets that those people can potentially get back. So maybe that's restored some hope. And we've had reasonably good economic news this week. So those two things combined may have had something to do with this pump. We will see. Oh, I got to throw a shout out to Craig because I still have a calendar item. Your suggestion on the 13th of the month that Doge has a nice move.
Oh, is that still happening? I haven't watched it lately.
I know. I think I don't know if I traded it last. I didn't trade it last month. I did in November. I think I lost, but I did today and picked up 4% on 5x leverage. So I'm feeling good about that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So thanks for that.
What coin was that?
Doge.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Craig shared it with the group, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago that on the 13th of every month, more often than not, Doge has a pretty nice move. So I put that on my calendar. It shows up every 13th, and then I make a decision if I want to trade it or not. I threw it was a SuperTrend alert on it, and that went off this afternoon, and maybe I got lucky. I'm not sure, but just wanted to throw that out there.
Craig, what's been your historical perspective on the 13th?
It was just a thing I noticed, and it was often Elon Musk made an announcement of some sort, and
back in March of last year.
Yeah, it was just every time around that time he made they'll start using Dogecoin to pay for parts, or you'll be able to do this with Dogecoin, or just some what I'd call an AIM comment, but it pumped Dogecoin. And I wonder whether he was doing it intentionally, whether it was a part of his, get a pump and manipulate the market a bit.
He may have a calendar item as well. So
yeah. But I noticed it to start with, and then I noticed that it was happening regularly at the same time. So,
all right, cool. Any other comments about the market overall before we look for some trades? Okay. Let's go to Altcoin Alert and see what we've got. And that's weird. Okay. I've got I know I have a couple new people who joined my email list today. They're not here, but they'll probably watch the video. So I want to go back to some of the basics. It shouldn't make this too much longer. All right, I'm on Altcoin Alert. I'm on the altcoin radar setting as opposed to the dashboard. I have easy mode off. This way I've got all the information. I'm going to sort at first by AA score. Click here. And the highest one I get is CELR network, CELR. It's up about 6% today. 80.6 score. So that's something I'm going to look to long. And to get a good entry, there's a few options, a few things I like to do. Well, a few options from which I choose from to facilitate that. So I've got the CELR chart open. This is the 5-minute chart. And I'm primarily a dip trader. I like pullbacks, and I like to see something go up, pull back, get in on that pullback and have it keep going up. Or to have it hit a dip sequence and again work its way back up, something like this, zoom, and then catch it down here and then have it work its way up. On the 5-minute chart, I'm looking for, I don't see a dip sequence at the moment, so I'm going to set an alert to try to catch one later. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. On the 5-minute chart, I will usually look at support and resistance. And by support, I see this group of candles down here between, actually, I'll draw a line here. Between about 1180.0118 and about 0.0119. So in this vicinity, I'm looking to get in, or at least to have place an alert and reevaluate. So I'm going to right click, add an alert, CELR crossing. I think I'll go with the 9, 119. And that's going to be my AA score alert. And then click create. And that's probably the easiest way, if you don't have a lot of experience or familiarity with TradingView, to set an alert and catch a dip. Now, some slightly more advanced options, I like to go on the 15-minute chart. So go over here, and this is the RSI, Relative Strength Index. And generally speaking, when this RSI goes below 30, that means it's oversold and it's usually due for a retrace. If it goes above 70, that's overbought and it's usually due to dip. So I like to place alerts on the RSI. And what I like to do is to have it dip below 30 and then come back up. But the market's been pumping lately. So as you can see, it's not going to 30. It's coming down to, like this one here is 32.8. You know, this dip here is 35.75. You know, this one here is 30.8. So I'm going to set, instead of the 30 value, you know, the oversold value, I'm going to set this at 35. So I want to dip below 35 and come back up. So I'm going to have it crossing up. The value is going to be 35.00. I like to go with once per bar close, so it'll keep repeating throughout the day if I need it. And that's going to be my AA score alert. You can call them whatever you want, but I like to use the information source on my alerts. So AA score purchase. And good to go on CELR. Another option is, I'd say, you know, an intermediate option is to use an indicator that groups together other indicators. There's a couple options I like. Divergence. this divergence from many indicators version 4. Download that onto your chart from TradingView here. Type in divergence, and it's going to be this one here. Divergence from many indicators version 4 by Lonesome something. And 15,000 plus people are using this. And I also add this one here, multiple divergences, a non-repaint, because sometimes it'll repaint, and that means it'll get new data and change. And so I usually use two divergence. And divergence is simply a disagreement between the candle action and the indicator value. So you'll have bearish divergence when the candle action is up, but the indicator is going down. Let's see if I have an RSI one here. Yeah, I'm not going to go deeply into divergence. I didn't use it until I've been trading for about a year and a half. So if you're brand new, you might want to skip this one. But it's a good way to catch dips and pumps and to either long or short those depending on your experience. And it's easy to set an alert. If you want to go long on this one, right click on the divergence alert, choose positive divergence once per bar close, and again, call it whatever you want. And then what I like to use when something's going straight up in a direction is a trend indicator. This is a super trend. I've modified it a little bit from the default. These are my settings. I changed, I think this is 14 or 15. I changed it to 5, and just because I want it to be more sensitive. But I haven't really used it long enough this way to recommend it, but it is what I'm doing now. So, and you can see the buy signals have done really well. CELR would on this one here, it went up 5%, retraced, went up again, another couple percent, retrace, went up again. So I probably would have had I've been following this the whole time, from Wednesday afternoon, I would have had 3 or 4 trades, 4 to 5% profit on each one. Those are good day trades. So, but it's easy to look at the super trend now in the positive direction when the market's pretty much going straight up. You can see the sell ones didn't do as well. This one went all the way down to 2.5%. That's not bad. This one got blown out right away. The sell alert here. This one, so in the time frame we're looking at the last couple days, we got one that would have been a loss depending on if you're using stop losses or not. And 1 to 2% on the other. So not bad. And alerts on the super trend are really easy. You right click on it, add an alert. Super trend buy is already there. You can do super trend sell if you want to short, or if you want to go both directions, direction change. I like this. I'll use this on scalping sometimes, really small moves. So, but for our purposes, once per bar close and AA, and you're good to go. All right. Any questions on CELR, the various alerts? And I do have this TDFI still here, TDFI, trend direction force indicator, that I'll use for confirmation on a trend alert. It's not very useful for divergence, but for a trend, if I get a buy signal and this is up in the green, that I'll use that for confirmation. So, all right, if there's nothing else on CELR, we will see what else we can find with Altcoin Alert. Okay, I don't show any other AA scores over 80, which is what I'm usually looking for. I did see one for Solana. that I wanted to look at, but it might have been a different sort. All right, so we'll bail on the AA sort and go to some of these others. Long-term sentiment and short-term sentiment. Sentiment is the Twitter data. What are people talking about? So I like to combine that with the Elder Impulse Daily, which is a technical indicator. You can hover over these question marks and it'll explain to you, what those are. So I'm going to sort this by long-term sentiment. And when I get bullish on the sentiment and bullish on the Elder Impulse Daily, that's something I want to investigate further. I'm going to bring that chart up and check it out. If they don't have a star on them, they're coins I don't usually trade. They're on exchanges I don't use or volume's too small. So Cody, FTM, Phantom, Mana had a big move today, 26%, Curve 17%. Well, Solana disappeared. I wanted to look at that, but it's really not in any of our sorts at the moment. So let's check out Phantom. You can find this on pretty much any exchange. So FTM. 5-minute chart, see if we got something going now. Not really. We do have a bubble forming, but we're towards the top of it, and then we're sitting on the, these are called Bollinger Bands, these green lines here. And when something goes below the Bollinger Band, that's usually a dip sequence. This middle line here is the SMA line, simple moving average. Mine's set at 50. Yeah, I haven't discussed Bollinger Bands in a while. Yeah, my length is 50. The default is 20. 50 is something I learned from my first day trading program, and I've always used it. All right, so on this one, we've got some really obvious, at least obvious to me, support right here. About 28 cents. It's made multiple touches in this area. So that would be a good place for a support alert. So right click, add alert. And this is a different sort. This is long-term sentiment. So that's the one I use the most, as you can see. And so if it drops below 28, that's something I want to investigate further. If we go over to the 15-minute, and let's see, what can we do? We haven't had any dips below the 30 on the RSI. On divergence, we haven't had bullish divergence, since yesterday morning. So again, the last few days I've been using the SuperTrend, and actually it's been in buy mode since yesterday morning, a little later, around 10:45. So what I'd be looking for is something like this. It dips and then you get a buy signal and shoots up. You might get some chop like this until it shoots up, but yeah, I'm kind of liking the SuperTrend on this one. Okay, any questions on FTM? All right, well, let's look for another one on, well, let's do a market cap sort or 24-hour change. So if you sort by this, it'll show you what's really pumped up today. So if you want to try to keep riding a trend, you might want to consider some of these. If they're over 20%, 15%, depending on the market, I usually think those are played out, but sometimes they keep going. 8 to 10%, that's where I saw Solana. This was in double digits earlier. It's back from the dead. This one was, I thought it was going the route of FTT. because it was so tied to the FTX scandal, but it's come roaring back. I think it was below $10 for a while. Actually, let's look at Solana. It was dipping earlier. Yeah, I saw it up here. This is the one I was looking at. Try to find, last time it was up this high, and again, it was in November before the FTX scandal, or right after it actually, because it was trading in the 30s and 40s before that. So this has plenty of room to retrace. And or do we want to short it this weekend? Because last weekend we had a pretty nice move to the upside. So, I mean, shorting over the weekend doesn't always work, but I usually like to have one short going over the weekend.
Do you think that's really valid considering the current market?
No, well, in general, yes, but like I said, it went up. The market did go up last weekend.
Yeah, and
But that,
we sort of reached the bottom, and we're sort of flirting with um a recover. Well, I don't want to call it a recovery, but we're flirting with trending back up.
yeah,
Um, things are very different from when you were, every weekend it was great to take a short, but I'm feeling that now's not the right time to follow that advice.
Craig is not feeling the weekend short, so that's fine. I was gonna add a caveat if you do one and use half to a third of your usual amount, reduce your leverage. Just be cautious about it. But got a little pullback here on the 5-minute chart. It's actually even showing up on the 15 and a little bit on the 1 hour. So, but whether that amounts to much could just be a bunch of profit taking up here, and then they buy back in and start again. So, but Craig's got a point. If shorting when the market's trending up pretty hard can be dangerous, but if you use some caution and probably a stop loss, yeah, I probably wouldn't want to ladder buy any shorts in this situation. So I'll probably do one just for fun. But anyway, well, let's evaluate Solana as a long first, then we'll consider it as a short. So we looked at these. We didn't look at the support. That was FTM. So it kind of looks similar. A bunch of candles hanging around down between 1650, maybe 1675. This area here before it had this big jump. Here's some secondary support around 17. So I'd probably be looking to get in between 17 and 1650 on the long side. And again, that's you add an alert, maybe 1670 would be somewhere in between, place that alert, and then reevaluate when that goes, when that triggers. May not trigger at all though, it might just keep pumping up. This might be the support, right here at $18. So can't always tell. So you can cover your bets. Do an alert at $18, another one at maybe 1725, and maybe another one down here at 1650, and have 3 separate entries. Break up your entries. Okay, on the 15-minute chart with our indicators, again, we haven't dipped below 30 on the RSI at all in this time frame. So you might want to go, if you use this one, you might want to go to 35 instead of the 30. Done that a few times already today. On divergence, let's see what's coming up here. A lot of bearish divergence. But actually, these did better than I thought they would. This one went down 6%. We like that. This one went way up. So you got up 7% went against you on this one on the short side. 2%. Then the long side, you got this MFI one at midnight. did really well, though it took a while. Depending on your time zone, you would have been down a couple percent before this run. Took it up 9%. So divergence has potential. But again, I'm leaning towards the super trend or some trend-based indicator. And yeah, this one kicked in perfectly this afternoon. This is the same time I got that Doge one. So yeah, this one did pretty well too. 4%, we like that. So yeah, I'm thinking until we get a strong move to the downside, a trend-based indicator might be the way to go. You'll get that pullback and then it'll kick back in again. Okay, any questions on Solana? Okay. Let's see if we can find something that didn't do well today. Keep XYO. You're looking for something to short. It's got to be, you can spot trade almost anything, but short has to be on a derivatives exchange, preferably one you can actually access. I like Bybit through using a VPN, and I've been using BitGet as well. But I don't know if MFT is something we can short. Do a quick look. I'm sorry, I'm on a different screen. No. Keep. No. KMD. No. Zcash. Yeah, I know I can short that one. Let's look at Zcash. Zcash is a privacy coin, and it's a mystery why it's not doing as well as some of the others. It just went sideways today pretty much. So look at the 5-minute chart. Did have a nice move up before falling, so we're too late for that. Instead of a 1, 2, 3 dip, we're looking for a 1, 2, 3 pump. 1, 2, 3, boom, missed it. Okay, so you might want to put an alert up here around 45, 45.50, 45.80. And if that triggers, consider going short. On the 15-minute chart, I use divergence a lot to find shorts. One triggered at 3:30, had a nice move down, about 2%. You're going to be on some form of leverage usually if you're shorting. I mean, you can't short at 1x if you want, but I usually go 5 to 10x myself. But I've been doing this for over a year. If you're just starting out on leverage, you should use single digits definitely. You probably really shouldn't do it until you've had some, probably a year or more of spot trading experience. Okay, so that would be on divergence. On super trend, actually alerts did okay. There's almost 2% there. And if you're content with 2%, you might be able to do okay with the super trend. You could also do an RSI alert, the opposite of what we were doing them earlier. Both of these went over 70, then came back. You have 3 of them here that have gone over 70 and came back. So what we do on that is put your alert crossing down on 70 once per bar close. And I think this was 24-hour change alert. Something like that. So I think I'm going to go with a super trend alert. Super trend sell once per bar close.
Okay.
24
Ocean.
sort. Okay. And I'm good to go. Okay, any questions on my weekend short, despite Craig's obvious protest? So
Well, it wasn't so much a protest. It was
Mhm.
just being aware that of not doing what we always do and being aware that markets are changing. It's
I want
easy
to
to fall
trade.
into
I want to trade the same way every time, though.
yeah, yeah, but you know what
Uh,
I mean.
I
You
do know
get in
what you
this
mean.
thing of doing exactly the same thing
Mhm.
and not being aware that the market's changing, and maybe what worked in one market doesn't necessarily work in another. And that's what I was trying to get at, is the market is changing.
Right, and Craig's
Doesn't
right. So
that
you have to,
doesn't mean we can't do it. It's just
yeah,
we've got to be aware that the market is changing.
yeah, you've got to be aware and manage your money differently in this situation if you want to do it. And I would use a stop loss in this situation where a lot of times I don't. And much to the criticism of many other traders, but yeah, I prefer to buy additional positions, called ladder buying, but you can get burned that way sometimes. It works 80 to 90% of the time, but when it doesn't, it's really bad. But that's a discussion for another time. We've gone through 4 coins now, so I'll throw this open to any other coins you guys want to look at, or any questions about Altcoin Alert or trading in general. Well, if that's the case, we're on right about 35 minutes. I'll wrap it up here. If you're watching on recording, thanks for doing that. Hope to see you live next week on Monday or Friday. Please check out the opportunities in the description below. They help fund the channel. If you're in Carbon, stick around. We will do that webinar next.